You know what? It's no surprise that in today's digital era, we interact more and more online from social media platforms. However, behind all these conveniences, there are lurking threats of cybercrime. And today we will discuss a very important topic for the younger generation, which is the role of youth in the digital space. We have with us today on Starting Point the Assistant Representative of UNFPA Indonesia, Ibu Ferania Andria or Ibu Rara. Thank you so much for being here on Starting Point.
Thank you for inviting us.
This is a very interesting issue. So what are the main and the big issues that we should be concerned about? And what are the data is telling us about this issue so people should be more aware of what's going on?
Yeah, so thank you for inviting UNFPA in this important topic. So I think the issue on the digital technology and the risk accompanying this technology is now very important because we know now what's so-called online sexual violence or gender-based violence. And it has been really triggering and increasing. It is around 38% now globally.
38%?
Yeah, 38% globally that the youth in the age between 15 and 24 years old actually experiencing.
That's a big number.
That's a big number globally, yeah.
Right.
So they're experiencing the harassment, sexual violence in the digital sphere.
On social media usually.
On the social media, on the, sometimes even in their own website, or then you can get that kind of harassment and violence. So it is a big issue now because it's increasing. And also in Indonesia, there's a Komnas Perempuan, the National Commission for Women. They mentioned that in 2021 there's around 900 cases in the last year
in Indonesia,
of this sexual harassment and violence attacking the women in the age of 15 to 24.
15 to 24.
Yeah, that's
during the young age.
Maybe you have some examples, real case examples of what happened and why should we be even more concerned about the issue?
Yeah, I think we need to concern about the issue because I think most important is we don't realize that there's a risk. So now the youth, they were born in the digital era.
Right.
Maybe I'm not, but the youth are there.
Us too.
Yeah.
We learn to be part of the digital era, but they were born in it.
Right.
So in daily basis, they're exposed to the digital technology and they like communicate.
And they're very comfortable in this digital space,
very
right?
much.
So is this impacting their mental health or?
Yeah, so the case of the harassment or this violence is, for example, they're posting the story. Oh, I'm going to the beach and then I'm wearing a swimsuit.
Right.
That's your picture, that's your body, but then all of a sudden people are commenting. Or they're taking that picture and spread it around.
I see.
And, or even worse, if they start modifying and then that becomes the non-fact.
Isn't that a crime?
Yeah, so there is now protection for the law that protecting that kind of the digital
harassment,
crime, harassment and crime. But when we talk about the impacted people, so although the survivor, there is also have an impact. It's not maybe physical, but mentally.
Right.
Exactly.
So we have to see from both. The protection from the regulation can protect us from the perpetrator, the doer, but ourselves as a victim, as the survivor. How can we do? What can we do to be back into the community with the healthy mental status? So that's the concern of UNFPA in terms of the, what we call it as a technology facilitated gender-based violence.
So tell us more, Mbak Rara, how is then UNFPA working together with all these young digital content creator to educate them more about this situation that is happening right now and how to make them more aware and perhaps facilitate them so they are you know, like more careful when they're posting stuff, or even like if they need to defend themselves online? How does it work?
Oh, apologies.
Apologies.
Sorry
There's
about
a little
that.
bit. There's a
Okay. Let me
technical
help
problem
you.
a little bit.
Let's just put this in your pocket.
You okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I think the topic was so
Yeah.
excited. So then, sorry guys. So about the content creators, this
Yeah.
community of practice, we call it. So first, UNFPA sees that it's inevitable that in this generation we will be exposed and use the digital technology.
Yeah.
So we see one strategy is that you work with the content creators to give them first the source of the factual knowledge.
Okay.
Particularly for the UNFPA, as a UN agency that's specific on sexual and reproductive health, the issue is very sensitive. For the young people, if they're looking for the resources, they can Google it, but they don't know whether it's a correct information, whether it's just factual or it's a hoax.
With this avalanche of information on,
Exactly.
you know, on social media and on the internet, we don't know even what's wrong or what's right anymore. So.
Exactly. So that's the first thing that we work. We engage content creators that can be individual, can be CSOs, can be university. So we work with them providing the knowledge platform.
Yeah.
So like the set of the source of knowledge regarding sexual and reproductive health. So then they can pick and use that the correct sources.
Right.
And the second one, we also build the capacity on how you communicate about the reproductive health across in the youth context.
Oh, okay.
So that's also another skill, because
That's
talking
interesting.
to me may be different to talking to
teenagers.
teenagers,
Yeah.
right? And as you know, in our education, this life skill, the reproductive health, it's also still taboo to be talked about. So then the young people, they're struggling to find information by themselves.
Right.
That's what we want to avoid. So the content creators is also build the capacity on how to wrap the content that appropriate for the youth with the factual sources.
I see. Wow. So how is the response so far, Ibu?
It's interesting. The content creators, our partner now is increasing. We have 77
77 content
partners,
creators.
content creators.
Most of them are probably millennials and Gen Zs. Or?
Yes.
Gen Zs perhaps
Gen Zs.
even.
And they spread in around 12 provinces. So
Okay.
spread from Jawa, Sumatra, even to Papua.
Right.
And their followers is almost 1 million.
Wow.
So I think that's a critical mass
Yes, yes.
for us to start making a safe space in the digital era, especially for the sexual and reproductive health issue.
Interesting. So what are the talking points that you want the content creators to deliver to their followers?
First is it's an educational.
Educational. Okay.
So it's an comprehensive reproductive health and sexuality health education material. So what is about the puberty? What would be the symptoms? How you are going, if you want to discuss with whom, and so that kind of educational information. And the second one is also an information or campaigns. We have campaigns called body rights.
Body rights.
So it's like a copyright, but it's
Body
a right
Body
to
right.
your
Your body.
body.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So a campaign, we also invite the content creators to promote this campaign.
So what is body right?
The body right is when you post the picture,
Right.
for example, showing your body,
Right.
then you say, this is my body, not to be shared without my consent.
Okay.
see.
Because
see.
what happens is sometimes I like this picture and I just forward it.
Right.
And that creates the sexual violence on the
Right.
digital platform. So this body right is a campaign for people to respect others. Because in the virtual platform now you have the digital body, right?
Right.
So your photo is your body.
Yeah.
Right.
Even with AI, they can just change everything, you know,
Exactly.
your faces and, you know.
That's true. So then this is actually the campaigns for you to aware, to respect your body and also others. And these campaigns also pressing the digital platform providers, the companies, to also put in place measure to protect the users.
Okay.
Say, for example, they have to provide a channel where I can complain.
Right.
Oh, I find my photo is
Being used by somebody else in inappropriate ways. Okay.
And then this needs to have a measure where they can turn down
Right.
that illegal users,
That's
for
right.
example.
Yeah.
Has that been working out with the
Yeah.
platforms?
Yeah, so this campaign is worldwide by UNFPA in different countries. So starting from the awareness, we expect that this body right will also be adopted by the government, by the private sector.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
Uh,
enough pressure
Yeah,
for
yeah,
things to
enough
change.
pressure. Yeah.
Exactly.
But Mbak Rara, some would argue that, you know, like the internet, the digital world, it's a public domain. So some would say whatever you post online, it is owned by the public once you posted it on a public, supposing Instagram account. What's your opinion on that?
I think if as a public good, you need to have a disclaimer. You need my consent. Because when I post the statement, when I post the picture, for example, right is still owned by me.
Yeah.
So unless I give you consent,
Okay.
that this is a public good. So I think that needs to be
It's a perception that people needs to understand. Yeah.
exactly. So it can be seen by public when I
Right.
click. I know in the social
Screenshot
media
or
we can
forward.
click that it's
Yeah.
open for public, that everyone can see.
Yeah.
But everyone can view, not that everyone can use. And
Yeah, that's right. Or misuse it, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but probably one of the big aspect of why there's such things on the internet is the anonymity, because people felt
That's
like
a good point.
they're
Yeah.
being people don't know who they are,
Yeah.
so and then they exercise things that they shouldn't. What's your view on that?
yeah, I think that's the challenge. Why it is difficult for us to deal with this harassment and the violence in the digital platform, because it's anonymous. The doer, we don't know who is actually attacking us. It can be like the alias, right? And we also find another challenge is it can be done from anywhere.
Right.
It is not necessarily in Indonesia. So even the law enforcement or the regulation cannot reach
Right.
that this attacker, for example. And even worse, it has a long period.
Yeah.
It can stay forever,
Forever,
your
right.
digital
Like-
archive.
Yeah.
So I think that's our the challenge.
challenges.
And with understanding the challenges, I think all stakeholders, this social pressure coming from the content creators, from the youth that understand it is my right of towards my body, and also the government regulation and the private sector.
Yeah.
As the service provider
Right.
needs to understand that challenge and make the safe measures around it.
Because the digital media is here to stay and
Yeah.
it's going to
Exactly.
keep growing exponentially. So
Yes.
I understand that the goal here is to create a safe environment for the youth to keep, feeling safe when they're posting stuff.
Yes.
And voice their opinions, of course. Mbak Rara, what would be your main goal and mission in the long term from UNFPA?
Yeah, so UNFPA as a sexual and reproductive health
Yeah.
UN agency with that mandate, we actually have three big missions that we believe that is a transformative. The first is regarding the reproductive health. We want that we want to end all the maternal death preventable maternal death, so during the pregnancy. And then the second one, we also want to ending unmet need for the family planning. And the third one is to ending the gender-based violence and harmful practices. So the one that our topic today is focused on this. The third one.
Okay. So probably a quick last question. If our viewers wants to find out more about this issue, you know, maybe you can share how they can reach you.
Yes, actually, just look at the UNFPA Instagram
account.
And we also have the website, and we also have the collaboration with Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection on SAPA 129.
SAPA 129,
Yeah.
that's 129.
29. So SAPA 129 is actually the call center for the sexual violence.
I see. Okay.
129.
Victims.
So that's an important number to remember, yeah, 129.
And 129. So in addition to other call center, 129 is important.
Yeah.
And we are now working with the CSO like ICT Watch, these ministries, to include the technology facilitated GBV, the violence, online sexual violence, into the service.
Okay. Lara, thank you so much for your work, you know, for what you've done. We truly appreciate it, and we hope that information will be especially hopeful, useful for our viewers as well. Remember, 129.
129.
That's the number.
Thank you, Mbak Rara.
Thank you so much.
Right.
So, Luisa, what an interesting morning that we had this morning, and we hope that you enjoyed the conversation as well, and it's time for us to say goodbye.